pyramids, to build things that they can't do even now with modern technology. So if you want to find the unity, what you have to do is go back to a time prior to all of these outside things came and did divide and conquer. And this is part of the reason why we celebrate KWANZAA. KWANZAA, this is the 101. This is entry level. What's going on here in KWANZAA. So when you see the table and candles and all that, those are baby steps into you getting back into your spirituality that we had prior to coming over here. These are the values. These are the baby levels of the value systems that we had. So that's why KWANZAA's here, to kind of introduce you, to get your feet wet, so to speak. And if you can get these principles down, if you could follow all 7 of those principles, just think of how much better your life would be. I mean, this is for anybody. Anybody who follows principles, their life. You look at them principles and what they stand for. If you could follow that, your life is pretty well. So to answer your question, if you want unity, I mean, it's great. Go to college. Follow the programs that they hand you in this country and say this is success. If you go here and you get this degree and you go and get this job and all, they tell you what success is. That's all well and good. Do that, but at the same time, practice that Sankofa. Go back, fetch those jewels that your ancestors had before all of this was here. Because we were great before all of this. Thousands of years before the United States was even a thought. You know what I mean? We were already great. So if you want to see your greatness, go back. And then when you do that, and even if you still do your modern day stuff, but if you could take your culture and infuse it into everything you're doing, now you're going to be successful. Because I'm gonna tell you what I know. I deal with a lot of people in my life, and when I talk to Italians, they could say, "This is my Italian culture. This is what we do. Blah blah blah. This is what we eat. We know we got a language or whatever."
Bada boom.
And they can take their culture and infuse it into what they're doing now and say, "This is what we do. This is what we don't do. This is how we do business." And guess what? You look around Wilmington, you're going to see Buccini, Poland, Pettinero, Pantano. You're going to see the Italians own this whole city because they have their culture. It don't matter what. They can say, "I'm American," and wave an American flag all day. But they have their culture that they can look back and get. So when you have your culture and can look back and get it, then that's when you're going to see what unity is like. And all you got to do is look back. It's right in front of your face. Like I said, you look at the Great Pyramid and go, that had to be unity to build that. That had to be. So it's there. Look, don't say you don't know what it looks like. You just got to go back and check for it. Yeah, in modern day Babylon, you might not see it so much, but it's there. And even in this Babylon, there are like-minded people that you could build with. You just got to seek them out.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. It's perfect time to introduce you to our new leadership team, Sister Kima, and Brother Joe. And would you come forward, please? Last night we had Mama Nzinga. Can you come for a minute? We had a transition of leadership. Sister Nzinga has been carrying us forward with KWANZAA for, I believe, we've been doing this since about 85, I believe. We started with Baba Kamal and his KWANZAA marketplace, and then Sister Nzinga took up the torch and has been carried it up until now. And last night was our celebration of Kujichaga Leah self-determination, where she passed the torch on to our Mama Yaya and Baba Joe. So I'd like you to give them an applause for them carrying it forward. What Baba Joe had shared with us is so true, and that's why going forward, we really do need to continue our traditions and bringing more people into Kwanzaa so that we can be about the education of our children, to serve on our neighborhood planning councils, to serve on boards in our educational system. You look at our educational structure, and who do you see? Not many that look like you. So we need to serve on those boards in the government, in the private sector, as well as the public sector. Bring someone, the saying goes, each one teach one. Each one teach one, please. At this time, we'd like to have another selection from our KWANZAA Ujima, and I must say they have been with us each and every night that we've gone so far, and thank you so much for your participation. Thank you so much.
I'd like to make a statement first.
Please, Baba.
We're not, I'm the elder, I think, anybody any older than 80? I'm the elder.
Sir.
We coming up close behind though.
We're not the KWANZAA Ujima.
Oh.
This is Sister Marcella. She's a drummer that I became friends with in the last couple months. And this is the queen. She plays traps, drums, piano, and everything. You very seldom see sisters drumming.
True that.
But these two sisters here have joined me for Kwanzaa to help us out, and they showed they've been here faithfully with me for the last 3 days.
Yes.
And she is a professional musician.
All right.
She would teach. I felt bad the other night because I didn't give her props. You know what I mean? Because really, she's an amazing musician. I've been to one of her shows at the University of Delaware where she plays with the elders and seniors, and she's really the Duchess of, that's what they call it, the Duchess of the Drum.
All right.
But let me say this while we're here. We have to shake the white mentality in our minds. And you know why that is? Because we don't dance. When you hear the drums, they're supposed to get up and move. And the only people that sit down when they hear music is
Okay.
they at a concert. This is no concert. This is a family gathering that we do every year, and we try to be family. You don't have to be cute. I like what the sister said about emoji. I can't even remember. I don't think we were ever united.
No, we gotta be optimistic now. We are united in small spaces.
I'm not talking about that way, you know, or we wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? And if you're going to go back in history, somebody sold us into slavery,
Yes.
and it was our own.
Yes.
That's true.
You know.
You know what I mean? And we were divided, we fought them all. We were sold out by those who wanted money, gifts, gold, and treasure. We got to be honest about it. Look at the birth of the nation. We'd have been out of slavery if somebody had snitched. So we got to understand this is reality. You know, and that's what we have to deal with. The only place I know is deal with reality. They commit genocide on us. You know, menticide is genocide. When you stop remembering where you came from and what you do in life, it's genocide. We as a people, yeah, we built the pyramids and all that, but what are we now?
Well, there's a lot of good. I don't want to accept Tim Garvey now. I just want to just comment and say there's a lot of us that are doing good things. I mean, on the masses, you know, we definitely need some help with unifying. And I wanted to comment on this, and now I guess on some talking, I can say that I just wanted you to think of, I want you to have hope for us. And there is a small thing. You could just start at the family unit. I mean, do you have sisters and brothers? Yeah, so that's unity. When you guys do something together, so that's a small example. But I do understand your point about, you know, we as a nature, I mean, even as a city, you know, even as a neighborhood, we have issues with not unifying to do productive. But I just want you to just think that, you know, look at the reality of how we are united on some small things as far as us even being here tonight, but there are so many other issues that we need to be united on, but we're not because of, our history and what things have done to us and the mindset that they have made us choose.
In all transparency, I think that I have lost hope in a certain way.
Would you stand up so they can hear, please?
No, I'm saying that it's like, it's sad when you say that you lose hope in something, but I think it's a good thing because my friends and I have talked about these things, and I'm thankful to have some friends who both understand the pressures of people wanting to keep the body and take the brain, and how we forced ourselves to try to stay educated, like my mother, who has taught me many things. But we have lost hope in what we thought was supposed to be our ability to have an American dream. And but on the flip side, I'm appreciative of being able to accept that reality of losing hope, because the one thing that a lot of my friends have done, that my mentees have started to do, and even my sister, is stop complaining about the work that we're not going to get credit for. Because what I remember when about 2 days after the election, my best friend called me crying. We both work with kids. We were saying, what are we going to be able to do? And the 3 things that we figured out we had to do was, 1, keep working on learning who we are, because we were never taught who we were.
Right.
2, continue to work with youth, all youth, because for what it's worth, I can work with my young black kids, but it's the other black kids that are going to grow up, or other non-people of color are going to grow up and have different positions. And we might be the only black influence that they have in their lifetime. And the 3rd is to continue to focus on love, because everything else is going to continue to affect us. But we have to stop doubting the power that we have within ourselves. So to be completely honest, I'm half and half, whereas I have lost hope. I had 8 years of hope, and it was beautiful. And we thought we were going somewhere, we were wrong. I don't discredit the work that has happened, but I know that the work that I'm doing, I'm not going to get accolades for, and I'm okay with that, because I'd rather continue to do the work and be honest about things, so the generation behind us who doesn't have the foundation that we had, who is going to have more distractions that are easier to look at than our own history, can understand why we're not going to sugarcoat certain things for them, because it doesn't help them in the end. So I don't know how that goes.
So,
I would say that, you said that you getting credit for things, but really to God be the glory. And so you continue to do the things that you're doing, and then really as individuals, we're only responsible for ourselves. And so what you have to do is keep that hope within you, like you said, to keep working with your children, to keep sharing love and things like that. And just do, we just do what's right. If each of us do what's right, think about sharing and doing the thing that's correct, then we'll see the masses of us, we'll all start, kind of coming along, and we'll see that there is unity. Maybe we're not doing it collectively, but there's unity as far as the process and the mindset or the achievements, the goals that we're trying to reach.
Right, or even just meeting people where they're at, because I think there's a thought that we all know
we
a
should
certain
definitely
level
do
of
it,
who we are, and we really don't. And
because
being
there's
able
some
to
of us
meet people
that are willing to accept some of the things and not make decisions that's good for us. And something that you said about the American dream. Since that American dream, that it's really not our dream. What we have to do is really, in my opinion, is have your own dream. The American dream was not set up for us to have. I spoke on this last night. So you have to have dreams, whatever your particular dreams and goals are. You continue to do that and work towards that and make decisions in your life based on what those dreams are. Not say, well, I want to get, what they have or this, that kind of thing, what's popular or what's, on TV and whatever that American dream looks like to you and whoever. But you have your own dreams, and your own dream can have nothing at all to do with anything to do with this so-called American dream, because it's really not our dream. You know what I'm saying? It's really the dream of other people who use us to attain that. So you have your own dreams and goals, and that's what you're saying you're doing. You want to continue working with children and, blah, 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 based on what you want to do. So have your own dreams. Don't try to follow that, because it's not even, wasn't really set with you in mind.
and that brings us to self-determination.
Yes, yes.
That brings us to self-determination.
Yes.
Our sister says she lost hope. How do we get hope back into our lives? How do we pull down hope when all hope has been lost? Has hope been lost?
No.
No.
So what do we do to be self-determined?
Remember where we came from. Oh, sure.
I
think the greatest way for black people to remember our hope is to remember our past, remember what greatness we've done, remember our various kingdoms throughout Africa, remember Egypt, remember West Africa, remember our expansion over into the Asiatic parts of the world, remember our influences in South America and North America.
Yes.
We are the tastemakers of the world. We should know that. However, we weren't taught that because our books were government contracted, so we don't know that. McGraw-Hill has handled a lot of our education for, 20, 30 years? However, in the age of information, now ignorance is a choice. You can now access these books as e-books. I have a personal collection of a lot of e-books, and I'm amassing a lot because it's the fastest way to transfer mass amounts of information. So now that we're in the information age, we can now access and transfer information to reteach ourselves the pride we had in our glorious past at one point in time. So now that we know these things now, we can now come back from the past and bring things we can assimilate into the digital time we live in now. So that way we can create a new blueprint that was once left off from us from Marcus Garvey and his economic powerhouse he once had at one point in time. The Black Panthers, how they organized defense and taking care of our basic needs as people. These things that we can now do now to implement into what we can do now in this time we live in, even in little old Delaware, where you wouldn't think there would be a lot of woke or conscious people, whatever little, label we like to put on ourselves as Afrocentric people. Now that we know where the keys are at, we can now start to unlock doors.
Thank you.
Which can evidently lead us to our own economic freedom, our own establishment of land, and things that we need to do to procure our own basic needs. So this is where we start by going to the past, assimilating what's going to be needed now to create the new future, and by any means necessary, because living the age now being politically correct doesn't matter anymore. You can march, you can vote all you want, you're going to get stomped on your head by the police, KKK. We don't have time for that now. It's time to, strike the drum. Whatever truth you have, find it. If you want to financially fight against the beast, do so. If you want to, create food plans for people to cleanse themselves, because what we eat can affect our mind too.
Absolutely.
The mental health aspect
Absolutely.
of the black community is at an all-time low. It's because we don't know where things come from. From the, generational beatdown of what we're not supposed to be, what we can't be, where we can't go, that comes from institutionalized racism. Macroaggressions, microaggressions, small things unsaid, things that are done to us directly. So now that we know where things are at now, we must know what we must do. Simple as that.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Who has another idea about being self-determined?
Well, first we want to keep God first, because without Him, we wouldn't have the strength to go on. So that's the first thing. Then you also want to pull from your ancestors, your elders. We have to start going back to our history. We don't communicate, as far as I have a friend to hear that's a storyteller. We need to have more of that in the community, because if they knew about the different struggle, then people would appreciate and be strong together, and we could work to solve some of these problems that we do have right now.
Thank you for sharing. Sister Solomon.
I'm at my elder's permission to speak.
Yebo.
Bye-bye.
Yebo.
Self-determination, Kuji Chakalia. What I was taught was for us to be self-determined, we have to be free. And to be free, you create a sovereign nation. And there are 6 things that you need to be a free sovereign nation. As a people, we need to be able to clothe, house, educate, medicate, clothe, feed, house, educate, medicate, and defend our people. And if you cannot do one of those 6 things, then you are not a free people, because you will rely on someone else to be able to provide that necessary basic need. So as a community, we need to pull on each other for our individual strengths, because I may not be able to sew, and can. However, I'm an educator. I teach our children, and you might be able to grow our food, and you might be able to stand in, the gap and defend our communities. So it's important for us all to figure out where our individual strengths are, which brings us to tonight. What our collective responsibility is to one another, because we're all little tiny pieces of the puzzle, And we need everybody's piece of the puzzle to be a sovereign nation.
Thank you. Any other way to be self-determined? Yes, ma'am. Yebo.
I just want to add to what you have to say, and I think that in order to be sovereign, you must know thyself. You have to know who you are and know what your needs are. I mean, you're not going to discover what that is if you don't know who you are and take the time to know who you are.
Absolutely.
Is what I wanted to add.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Any other way to be self-determined? Any other way?
Always to be able to think for yourself.
Be able to think for yourself.
Define for yourself is the main thing.
Absolutely. So now that we're unified here tonight, and we're self-determined to carry on our traditions, to grow, to learn, to share, how will we do this collectively? What is our responsibility to ourselves and to one another?
We need to be responsible as far as for ourselves, first of all, and then when we work collectively together, each person will take their part in the parts of the puzzle and achieving the same goal, and just be responsible. I have to do my part, and you have to do your part. She has to do her part. He has to do his part. So forth and so on. So that we're working collectively, trying to reach the same goals, but we're all taking a piece of the pie to accomplish it.
A piece of the pie. Yes, ma'am.
Madam Elders, permission to speak?
Yebo.
Okay. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So when we talk about collective work and responsibility, everyone has an obligation. It's not a choice to be able to step forward and do the work that needs to be done. And when there is a weakness or a gap, then someone else needs to step up and fill that gap until the person or the individual or the entity that is not as strong can build strength. If you don't mind repeating after me, there's a ripple effect in all that we do.
There's a ripple effect in all that we do.
What you do touches me.
What you do touches me.
What I do touches you.
What I do touches you.
And collective work and responsibility really is giving ourselves putting ourselves in the frame of mind to say that every choice that I make, every decision that I take, every action that I go through has a domino effect on the person next to me and my family. So it really puts us in a place where we don't, no man is an island. We don't just live or speak or do or make decisions solely and individually, because everything we do has some type of ripple effect and connection to the person next to us. And hopefully if we start to come back to that communal sense of being, then our actions will change, because we don't want to have an adverse negative effect on the person beside us. I personally think we should go back to family accountability. When our children or our auntie or our parent does wrong, then the whole family needs to buy it. Because I really believe that will give us an opportunity to family check